Welcome, everybody. Turn off the video. Today we have a great presentation lined up. Before we jump into the presentation, I just wanted to see if anyone had any questions, any like open items that they want to share with the group, any kind of cool tips of the day. No? Nothing? No one's read any articles or stumbled across anything interesting in Power BI? Really, in 1 month?
Well, I have been playing with the data marts preview feature, and I'll be doing, it'll be part of a presentation I'll be doing at the Bay Area Power Platform User Group in September.
Nice. So everyone, check that out if you get a chance. All right.
Or maybe if you'd like to deliver it to our group.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, we can get in touch and work that out.
Fantastic. Ike, I think we just solved our problem for September, did we not?
If he wants to, we would love it. We'd be very grateful.
2 in a month. I mean, we'll see. I mean, as long as it's not the 14th. Well, yeah, we can work it out.
Yeah, that would be great. No pressure. If not, we can work out another time. All right. Last question. Are there any upcoming Power BI events or conferences or employment opportunities that people like to share?
Well, there's the Azure Data Conference. It's
Nice.
going to be in December. It's going to be in Vegas in person. And for the Azure Data Conference, we have Synapse and Databricks and Cosmos and machine learning and a lot of different topics. But we have some really good sessions on Power BI also lined up. So with speakers like Ginger Grant and Treb Gate and Dustin Benoit and Simon Whiteley will all be speaking.
Thank you, Ike. If you guys ever get a chance, for those of you that don't know Ike, he's an amazing speaker. Just the topics he picks and what he speaks on, I'm always impressed. So whenever you get a chance, you should check out his YouTube channel and some of his presentations. All right, let's go ahead and get started here. I would like to introduce you to Kavita Behera, our speaker tonight. She is a product manager, a researcher, and Power BI analyst, and she's been an active member in the data visualization community. In 2022, she created the LinkedIn series, The Weekly Chart, and through this, she pays tribute to chart types and creates awareness around them, when to use them, when not to use them. She follows the philosophy of less is more, and she focuses on making user-efficient reports. So that's really her official bio, but in my opinion, she is like way too humble. In my opinion, she creates stunning and interesting visualizations. And I really like her infographics because they compel readers to think deeply about the data stories. And I especially hope she shows lots of her infographics. I don't know if she has time, but I was impressed with them. Also, I like that she actually provides fun examples. Like she did some visualizations on Pokemon data. And this just goes to show you that you don't always have to use business data. I mean, how many times have we seen sales, revenue, expenses, profit, blah? Sometimes that gets really boring. So she showed an important data narrative that was conveyed using entertainment data. So again, that's pretty interesting. And I'd like to kind of summarize and finish off the last thing I think you should know about her. She doesn't just post eye-catching visualizations, but she kind of brings you through the whole design process and tells you, you should think about this, start here. How did she arrive at the visualization? So with that, I would like to turn it over to Kavita. Kavita, take it away.
Thank you, Tim, for this introduction. Let me share my screen and we can start the presentation.
Kavita, your mic got a little bit muffled somehow.
Let's see. Is my screen visible?
Tim, what do you think?
I
Is
can
there
understand.
background noise behind me?
No, I don't hear any background noise. I think that you know, obviously, if you could speak a little louder, that's
No.
great too.
Yeah. Sorry, I just woke up. My voice is not my normal voice. Okay.
Yeah.
Today I'll be presenting the topic of layout design process. So yeah, let's get started. So a little introduction about me. I think Tim already gave it, but I'm a product manager. I run a series called #weekly_chart on LinkedIn. You can check that out. I'm an ex-researcher, ex-accountant, Power BI developer. And the most important thing, I am a paw parent of Mithu. She's my dog. I run her Instagram account, create videos, train her. That's important for me. Next thing is the topic that I've picked for this presentation is layout design. What is layout design and why I have picked this topic? So layout design is nothing but the arrangement of all the elements on your canvas, how you position those things, that is. Now, why it is important from the entire like plethora of dashboard designing, data modeling and all that? Because this is the part which bridge the gap between your analysis and your communication. You have done a lot of analysis, but now how you are going to communicate that to your end user. So that bridge is done by through layer design. You can create a simple report into a complicated report just by the layout design and vice versa. And for me, it just helped me create my report in a structured way, help them to manage and just bring that extra design effect to them. The topics that we will be covering in this presentation is first how to pre-plan the layout design, things we should consider while layout designing, and then I'll give you some live examples and show you some examples. So yeah, the first thing is how to pre-plan your layout design. Before getting to this section, I just wanted to show you quickly show you a flow chart that I have created regarding that same Pokemon dashboard process. And if you can see, my layout design is just this end part, this layout design color scheme. Before that, there's a lot of planning, visioning, sketching goes into the picture that actually help me into that layout designing. So yeah, think it through, work on that planning and research. It's really crucial. I'll show you this flow chart in detail later on. So coming back to the presentation, so how to pre-plan your layout design. So I have split it into 4 sections. The first is understand the context. So this is the portion where you just try to understand, okay, what is the client requirement? What is the focus of your dashboard? Why you're creating this? What is your target audience, frequency of report, and all the questions you can think of regarding that data set, regarding that, the report you are doing. Just list them down and try to get more and more answers from your client, your end user, and if it's a small team, you can ask them. The next thing is think about interactivity. So by that I mean is what you want your user to do after they have seen this report. What is that next action you want them to take? Just help your user through your report. Okay, now you have seen this report. This is the Q&A session, or this is the contact page. Whatever that next step is, help your reader to reach out to that stage also. Then in terms of analysis, I have split it into 2 sections: exploratory analysis and explanatory analysis. So exploratory analysis is where I build my DAX model, to create my data models, make everything clean, and just try to understand my data, what is happening with it. maybe I have to create 10 tables, 20 charts just to understand, okay, what is happening with my data, like because what is that reason because of which my profit reduced from the last quarter, or which product is downfalling. So all that work is done in this exploratory phase. Now I have done my analysis, and then I figured out, okay, this is one specific product because of which my product profits are reducing, or my sales is going down. Then I'll come to this explanatory analysis phase. Okay, I have done my analysis. I know these are the crucial information that I want to show to my end user. And in explanatory analysis, I'll think about the visuals, how I'm going to now communicate this information to my end user. I cannot show them those exact 10 tables or 20 charts that I've created. Okay, I have to create a story for them. And that's where this explanatory analysis comes in, and you think about the visuals. Now, why thinking about visuals or chart types is important? So there are few things you should consider in terms of layout designing. So first, how much space your chart is going to take, whatever the chart type you are thinking about. Uh, the chart you are picking, is it legible?
This go in there after dinner.
So by legible, I mean there are some chart types which is more advanced in nature, and people don't know how to read it. Like, even I've heard that scatter plot is a chart which is hard to read by layman users. So you should always think about it. Okay, if a chart is a little advanced in nature, maybe you can use color positioning, better titles, subtitles, annotation, just to make it easier for your user. Okay, this is how you can read this chart. That's your job. The next thing is formatting. As you all know, Power BI is a bit limited with formatting. So sometimes you have to create a lot of DAGs or additional measures just to get that formatting into the into your visual. So think about okay, the visuals you are picking, does it has the formatting that you think you're thinking of or you're planning to use. The next thing is the visual types you are picking, but does it have any add-on features? Like, can you add annotations through them? Can you convert them into table? So think about all these different options regarding the chart type that you are picking with. And last but not least is what kind of information you can show with your chart type. So just a quick example, there is linear gauge, radial gauge, speedometer, what a liquid gauge. All these are just different form of gauge, but the role of all of these gauge is that they compare actual value against a target value. That's all they do. But why we have so many different types? Because with each and every type of visual, you can just pitch in an extra information or an extra way of design and icon. So all of these different forms of visual have some quality in them. So that is where you have to think through, okay, which visual make more sense for my report, for my design, and then use that. Here are some quick examples of weekly chart that I post on my LinkedIn. So even in these, you can see that, in these, you can see that I follow a layout structure. So my work is like pretty standard, divided into 5 segments. First is the chart name, its introduction, its variations. Then the third section is pretty flexible. I try to answer how, when, why questions. Then there is an example. And at the end is sources and tools that I have used. So in this, so this is just an example how you can use layout and incorporate that. So this makes it easier for me to, okay, I know these are the 5 segments where I have to work on and create the content. And it's also easier for my users or readers to go through them, because they know, okay, these are the different information. Maybe someone just wanted to know variation. Maybe someone is just interested in examples. So they can just focus on this specific segment and maybe not read the entire thing. So that's how layout brings more familiarity and make the process faster. Now, by this point, we have done most of our analysis. We know the visuals we are going to use, the questions we are going to answer. So all of that is done. Now we will come to the actual stage where we'll start our layout designing. And the first thing that I think about is color schemes. Colors play a very crucial role when it comes to storytelling, dashboard designing, or any piece of content that you are creating. These are some of the ways that I like to use, and I like to create palettes. And I'll try to show you some examples or my previous reports that I've created using these different methods. The first is get inspired by posters. So why posters is a good way? First, these posters are created by a professional designer or an illustrator. And second, you can see those posters or images that, yeah, it's working. All those colors are complementing each other. You just have to extract the color palette from it. The next one is use a all color palette. So all color palette is basically rainbow palette that has violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red color. I mean all the color. It just gives you an easy access to all the colors, and you can quickly test them through and see, okay, what might make sense for you and not. The third type is where you can keep two primary colors. These are going to be used across your report, and whenever you need another color to show a category or something, you will just adjust according to them. So maybe you can use a gray to complement them, or if you're using a dark yellow, then you can use a light yellow to complement your primary color. So you can do that and create a palette out of it. The fourth stage is once you're creating a lot of dashboards and report, eventually you will find some 2-3 good themes or color palettes that match your style, that work with your report. So you can just reuse them. You don't have to like keep going and searching for a new palette. The fifth thing that I incorporate in my color palette is the keep it neutral. By keep it neutral, I mean is use black, white and gray colors. They are the most used color in any report. I can't think of a single report that don't use, a black, white and gray color. So try to incorporate more of these color. It only empowers your report and make it more and more, readable. And the last thing, which is very, very important, is restrict yourself to 5 colors. So because if you try to go more than 5 colors for a color palette or for your report, it just increase the visual load for the end user. They have to remember, okay, but these 6 colors represent 6 categories, and if you are using the same colors to represent different categories, it just hard to remember for your end user more and more. Okay, but these colors signify. So it's always a best practice to stick with 5 colors, and then use other form of visual cues to just present your story. But of course, there are situations where you have a lot of categories and you have to go above 5 colors. So in those cases, you can go for a sequential palette or a diverging palette. So what is a sequential, diverging and qualitative palette? So this is an example. Sequential palette is where it follow the same color code, but from dark to light shade. A diverging usually have 2 or 3 main primary colors, and then it creates the gradient between them. And a qualitative palette is where everything is just not related to each other. Everything is scattered all over the place. So a sequential is useful where you want to show when you want to show your value through a color ranking. Diverging is more useful when you have a lot of negative, positive value, and you want to create that difference in your visuals and in your data. And qualitative is, again, it's like, it's not interrelated. It's a lot of colors. I usually avoid going with a qualitative palette, but sometimes it's also helpful when you are trying to associate each color with a category. So yeah, these are the color schemes. Then these are some of the palettes that I frequently use, and it's some of my favorite palettes. So the first one is an example from pick 2 primary colors. So my yellow and green is primary color, and you can see I've just customized all the colors based on these, whatever complementing these to create my report. The second is keep it neutral. There is a lot many gray, black and white shades available, but these are some of the ones that I like to use. There are more, of course. The third is that all color palette. So you can see I have access to a lot of colors and of different shades, and it's very easy for me to create a quick palette out of them, and just experiment which color is complementing what, and yeah, start creating my report. Even for this presentation, I'm using this red color. And last is where you can just stick with 5 colors and create your palette, including the white, black, and gray. this is the first example. So you can see this is a layout that I have created using Numero theme. A big shout out to Numero. If you don't know about Numero, they offer a lot of layouts and color schemes. If you go check their website, they have 3-4 good color palettes available, and they are just great. You can use them on in any reports, and those colors are going to work. So yeah, I most of the time use Numero theme. And this is a second example using that same layout, but now you have seen that I've extracted color from this poster and how much difference it creates. So it's the same design, but just by changing the colors, you can create more impact. These are some more examples how I extract colors. So you can use tools like Canva and colors.co. So you can add your images on those platform, and it will give you a palette from whatever the image you have uploaded. But I like to do it more manually. So the way I see colors, I start adding them and create my own palette. So yeah, that's my thing. Now some of the colors tools that I use. So let's start with the first one. So this is one of the most used color tool by designers or developers or like across people. Colors.co, it will give you a lot of options. They have contrast checkers, color accessibility, extracting colors from images, creating palettes of your own. So there are just multitude of options. My favorite thing about this platform is their color picker. So you can put any hex code and it will give you every detail about that color. So what is that color name, its different shades, some suggested palettes, contrast check, like everything you can know about that color. So I always go and like to know more about the colors that I'm using through this color picker. The next website that I use is ColorSpace. So I use this platform to create a gradient palette. So I can just put a one hex code, 2 colors, 3 colors, and it will give me a gradient regarding that color. The third platform is this material design palette. So you can see again, it has a lot of rainbow colors in it, and you can pick any 2 colors from the like listed option, and it will give you a dummy palette, which I think is very cool, including the gray tones. So you know, okay, if I'm creating a report with dark blue and yellow, I can maybe leverage a light blue or a dark blue, you know, just to undertone it or for my backgrounds. And they are grays as well. So it's always nice to know which gray color you are using. And last thing, if you are able to restrict yourself to up to 5 colors in your creating your color palette, then you can go to Adobe Color and check your color accessibility, that whether it's colorblind safe or not. It's just always a good add-on to think about the color accessibility, and that, you know, those colors don't have any conflict between them. So yeah, these are the platforms that I use while creating my color palettes. The next point is font style. So why font styles is important while you are thinking of layout design or just, you know, designing your report. So the thing is, at the end of the day, your report should be legible. You and your user can read it. So and there are multitude of font styles available across the internet. So you should not be like stuck or be confused. Okay, what font style to use? So these are some 8 font styles that I use, and I'm like very restricted to them only. So it's Laura, Semboy, Nunito, Segway UI, Lato, Open Sans, Tahoma, and Kendara. Among these, you can find the Segway, Tahoma, Kendara on Power BI default formatting, and the rest I use through my designs, so through PowerPoint or some other tool. You can use up to 2 different font styles in your report if done nicely. So one you can use as header and another one as your subtext, the way I'm using in this report as well. So if you see in my report, let me head back. I'm using the first font style. So my titles is in one font and my text is in another, and it works. Just don't go overboard two font families. The another thing you should always check before picking a font style is sometimes a font look very nice when it's in text format, but the moment you type a number, it's very hard to read. So always just check that your font is equally readable when it comes to number and text. And yeah, you can create a report with one text to, or one family text or two family texts. And if you want to create word distinction, you can use tools or options like bold, italic, underline, colors, just to create, that differentiator for your text. The third point is visual hierarchy. So visual hierarchy is basically how you want your user to read or look at an information from top to bottom. But for this presentation, I specifically want to talk about the visual hierarchy related to the way you put titles on your dashboard. So sometimes like we create the best report, but when it's come to your visuals title, we go with the Power BI default formatting. Okay, this looks nice, but you can improve that a little bit if you have already pre-decided, okay, this is how I want to keep my all the titles consistent, that it should be all caps or it should be gray, my subtitles is going to be this color. So if you have done that planning, so you know exactly, okay, you have created a chart and you have to go to titles, write your new title and do these basic formatting checks that will just improve the readability of your visual a bit more and show that you have put extra attention to all the parts. This is one of my favorite points, which is keep white space. So for this little backstory, I am a huge fan of home design shows and those home decor shows. And what they do is, like, there is a big cluttered room, they go to that room, they clean it up, put 2-3 important things in the room, paint it all white, and that same room looks much bigger, much better, and it's just bit cooler. It's the same concept with your dashboard as well. Just because you have that empty space, don't try to fill it with bigger size of visuals and extra text and that sort of thing. If you have that space, just leverage it. The more white space you will incorporate in your reports, it will just let your design breathe, make everything more clear and more readable, and you can see, okay, they are allotted section. So yeah, that's the power of white space. You can't know it until you try. So once you try to incorporate more and more this white space in your report, you will see, okay, how it's making that right difference. These are two examples that both are created by me only. So the first one, you can see that it's a good report. Like I have focused on all my titles, everything is well aligned, but there is no white space, and because of that, it just looked bit cluttered. Whereas in the second example, you can see that when I have the same amount of visuals on both the screens, I have a lot of white space on this, and that just let my design breathe and look much more better. And plus, it has a lot of boundaries across the visual. So yeah, this is one thing you can think through while creating your report. Yeah, the next part of this presentation is layout size and type. So every layout shape tell a different story to you, and you can leverage that while and think about that while creating your layout design. So these are the 3 shapes or layout types that I use while creating my dashboards. The first one is a desktop view. A desktop view is helpful when you are creating a report and it's going to be used on laptop frequently. So you can use a desktop view. The another one is infographic. It's more helpful when you don't have a lot of interactive feature and you want to show all and more information on your front page itself. Plus you want it to be scrollable, so your user can see information and scroll the screen instead of switching the pages. So if you want a switch feature, you should go with desktop view, and an infographic when you want a scrollable screen. And third is square, which is basically a hybrid of these two layout types. So it fits through your entire laptop screen or phone screen. Also, it's scrollable. So these are the 3 types I use. When it comes to Power BI, these are just some resolution or pixels I like to use when to create my reports. So the most popular one are this 1920 1080 and 2560 and 1440. They both are this desktop view ratio, and it fit perfectly. But there are some other ratio as well based on how you're good with your report. these are some of the examples based on different shapes and size. So the first one is a desktop view. For this, also I'm using numero theme in this report. The second one is a square view layout, and you can see I have used my rainbow palette. So in this report, my main color is this red, but I did need some green or yellow for few instances. And that's where all color palette come handy because I don't have to now go and create a new palette. I can just go and quickly extract 2-3 colors. Again, for the infographic view, my weekly chart is the example. You can see I just put all the information on one screen because I don't want them to scattered all of the place, and I just want to fit all the information on one place itself.
The tree map, my favorite.
So that brings us to the end of this presentation. The next thing that I want to show you is that I struggle myself is with this layout sizing type. So as a beginner, I used to create a lot of these layout backgrounds for my Power BI report. So I have that ready. I followed all the practices, but the struggle is when I try to fit them in my Power BI, they don't fit properly. They either stretch or they crop out, and that just did not give me the desired result the way I want with my report. So for that, you can always go and use different methods, but I like to follow this Excel sheet, which is useful for me. So I convert my pixels into centimeter and centimeter in pixel. So everything should fit properly. So in the start of this Excel file that I maintain, I have this pixel and centimeter ratio for the commonly used sizes that I follow. So it's 1920-2560. So I know, okay, their pixel ratio as well as them in centimeter and their layout. Now for the converter that I go with, I use this simple logic that 1 centimeter is equal to 37.79 pixel. And all my calculation or my page resolution is based on this calculation. So let's take a quick example. So suppose I want to create a report of 1920-1080. So the right centimeter for my PowerPoint report should be 51/29. Okay, that's great. So this is the first section that I calculate to know, okay, what is that right centimeter height and width. This is the next portion that I use. I don't have a name for this, but just an advanced version. So like now I know, okay, I need to use a 59/29 size for my PowerPoint report. But as you know, with PowerPoint, the bigger the size of your screen is, the better the quality of your report is going to be. So maybe instead of 51, I need my size to be 80. So I just put that 80 here, and I'll get that other height or width or that other number, that what it should be to create that exact same ratio. So now in this case, now this 80/45 is equal to 51/29, which is equal to 1920-1080. And in this case, everything is going to fit properly with each other. Let me show you a quick example of how this looks. So this is currently a canvas. Sorry. Let me go to canvas background, browse my background. This is the background. Yes. Use the transparency. So I have uploaded my this layout design that I've created on PowerPoint, and now you can see it fit properly on my Power BI desktop. Now I just wanted to add a KPI measure for the sake of this example. A KPI. Let's put sale return. So now I have KPI, and as you can see now, if you have a background, it's very easy for you to just position things on top of it. You don't have to worry about the alignment and everything because you have done that work on your layout. Now I'll head back to my report and change the size. So my canvas. So currently my canvas size is 16/9, but maybe instead of this, I want a custom size. So let's say I want my width to be 2000. So now I want my width to be 2000. So this example might be helpful. So 1920, 1050. And I want my width to be 2000. So what is that? Another height that my report will be for. So if it's 2000, my height should be 1125. 1125. So you can see my KPI size has reduced, but my screen and the entire layout everything is still the same. It retained that same quality. So it's helpful when you, of course, you want to increase the size to fit more and more visuals. You want to make everything more clear. So this is just the perfect way. But always think about your layout size and these resolutions beforehand, because otherwise it's going to be very tricky. You have to go and pick everything, these size, and reposition it. And because it's Power BI, you have this zoom feature as well in its recent update. So the quality of your visuals is always going to remain the same. So you can zoom in and see each and everything very clearly, and then zoom back. And you have that entire more and more information in that same area. While we are on this report, I just quickly wanted to show you this example. So this is the actual report that I created through that layout. And if I remove my background, you can see the elements that I'm using on screen. So without my background is but holding the entire story together, showing all the elements, making it interactive. So that's the power of layout design. You can you can try to incorporate that and make it more and more, make your report better. Now fit again, and for all the buttons and things, I like to use transparent buttons over them. It just so you can do all your designing work and all that pointers that you have go through colors, font, style, everything on your layout, and then come to Power BI and just add those transparent icons to make everything interactive. So yeah, this is one report that I like to share. What else? Yes. So these are some of the quick design tips that I follow for my layout design, and you can also incorporate them or think about them while creating a layout. So yeah. So some common things that I always think through. I don't know how some quick things that I consider while creating my layouts is, first, it should always have a navigation page. So like in this case, I have this home button, like this page option on the top, or it could be different ways. So this is a navigation pane. This is a navigation pane. So my report should always have a navigation pane. It's just a matter of fact where I want them to position and how I want to show them. The next thing is what kind of action buttons I'm using in my report. That's very important, and that's you should have an allotted space in your layout. So like in this case, I have this dark mode and light mode button, a dollar converter. In some cases, I have just this page navigation or contact us button or info button. You can think about all those action buttons that you want in your report and incorporate that in your layout design. The third thing is filters. What kind of filters you want for your report? So is it a filter type that is going to be stay on the screen? You are using bookmarks or some horizontal filters. So you can use a layout like this. Or maybe you are planning to keep your filters hidden through bookmarks. So you can use a button to keep it make it interactive. So if someone click on that button, your filter panel will open or it will stay hidden. You can use different methods. The another thing that I focus is while creating my dashboard is there a spotlight or a highlight section? Like in this report, you can see everything is gray and white, but I have this dark blue section, and I know it's going to be my spotlight or highlight part of my report where I'll pitch in some main information. And then some basic things you can always take care of is everything is properly aligned, all my or I have all the proper shading, borders around my visuals or not. These things, small things can make a lot of difference, and it all will pay off once you will see it on actual screen. So yeah, these are some things that I consider or I try to when I create my different design. So in all these designs, you can see they serve a different purpose and they can be used for a different use cases. So this one is where it's pretty standard, where I have a lot of bookmark filters. This is where you have a lot of pages and you have a subgroup of those pages. So you can use a layout like this, and it's pretty standard. It's very simple design. In this, I have a filter button, as I said. A lot of my things are hidden. It's another subgroup design, and it all has a CTA button. So it's very rare in my dashboards, but if you have a CTA button or a contact page or a page where you want your user to redirect after the dashboard, just add it on your screen. Make sure it's highlighted. Make sure it has the primary color on it. Yeah. So this is the second thing. And last but not this is the last thing that I wanted to share, and we are just about to close our presentation. So yeah, this is actually an image example from the poster theme that I created. So this is the same color palette that I extracted from this poster and use it for my this report. So you can see it's not all over the colors. I have used a lot of neutral colors, gray colors to present in my report, but I have used those primary colors whenever it's needed, and you can do it the same way. The next thing I just wanted to show you is my Pokemon report, the one Tim was also talking about, and yeah, so I thought it's a good share. So this is my report. I'll just take you through. So this is my home page. The next page is introduction. So this is the introduction page. Here I can pick any Pokemon name, and I'll get the information about that Pokemon. So I'll pick a Pokemon and I can see all its metrics, its images, all that. These are my, again, navigation button to move across the pages. Now this in this page, I can pick any generation and create a one-on-one battle between them. I don't want to do that as of now. And this is my one-on-one fight page. So again, I can go and pick any Pokemon from this from the picker, and it will compare those Pokemon on different metrics like combat power, total damage, they're against type 1 and 2. And then it will just compare all the results by specific sections, and then will give me the final results. I also have some add-on buttons on this page. So if I want to go to my default view, I can just click on this refresh button, and I'll get my default Pokemon fight that I am showing. I also have this info button. So if someone click on this info button, I get this hover over thing. Okay, you can hover over here to see more of details about the Pokemon. You can pick them for battle, and the winner is listed here. So I forgot to show you this thing. So if I pick a Pokemon, I can hover over their name and I'll get more information. So what is their Pokédex number, generation, there are some statistics. So it's helpful when we are making two Pokemons fight. And last thing is the group battle page that I created. So in this, again, my Pokemons are I can pick a group of Pokemon or team of Pokemons, and they all fight against each other in different metrics. On different metrics, and you can see how the entire team is performing versus how individually Pokemon is doing. So like in this example, you can see Me Too is more stronger in this team because the red color represent red team is winning, and yellow color represent yellow team is winning. But overall, as a team yellow is more stronger than team red, and you can see that by score that it won by 1900 points. The another thing in on this page is if I hover over a Pokemon, I can see that same tooltip and the information about the Pokemon. So that's just something you can see and know more about the team that you have picked. And I have some predefined views. So you can see, okay, how you can you're changing the Pokemons and how their scores are getting calculated, and which team is winning. You can go and create a team of your own based on the Pokemon you have selected. But yeah, so yeah, this is the report that I want to show, and now I'll take you through how uh, how I worked on its layout design and how this entire layout is done, the behind the scenes things. So yeah, again, let me just quickly show you this Pokemon dashboard design process. So when I started creating this report, the first thing is, can I envision this report? Because it was for a data challenge that I was participating. Do I have a theme for this report? And yes, so I was going for a report with app plus reporting. It should be look like an app. As you can see, it has a lot of interactivity. You can select your Pokemon, any Pokemon from the list, and make them fight. So it has that app feature. Then I went and checked a lot of use cases. So like initially I wanted my Pokemons to fight like in an animated way, but there's no animation, so I cut that part out. I wanted to look like a Pokédex. I wanted multiple screens. I wanted to build a game app. I want to show their evolution stages, which I again have to cut out because I don't have that sufficient data. So eventually I stick with, okay, I'm going to show it as a multi-screen app, which looks similar to Pokédex. Then I start collecting all the resources that I want. So do I have images? Because as you can see in my report, images play a very crucial role. Do I have all the metrics to compare to Pokemons, make them fight with each other? Can I create a multi-grid Pokemon view? So I needed a multi-grid Pokemon view to select multiple Pokemons. So do I have those kind of visuals, those kinds of resources? Once I have all those resources, I go and actually spend time on my DAX modeling. So how all these calculations are going through, how two Pokemons are getting compared. When I hover over a Pokemon, you can see the colors are changing. So like it has a green background, this one has an orange background. So all those definitions I have to create. So once that portion is done, then I come to my sketching stage where I sketch, okay, how my report should look, what is going to be the flow. And then the final thing is layout design. So the layout design I have done is through this PowerPoint again. I love working on PowerPoint. So yes, so once I have all my materials ready, my DAX ready, I come to my this layer PowerPoint and create my layout design. So just let me show you these ugly pages which I kept hide. So when I'm prototyping and testing my report, it looks something like this. I just put all the information on screen and just see, okay, all my logics are working, all the information that I'm getting is correct or not. So once all that is done in this ugly manner. But that's where the power of layout comes. Once I put a layout design, it convert and look something like this. So this is where you can use layout. So yeah, this is my front cover page. Then for second page, I wanted to look at something like this. It's just all table and square boxes, basic sketching. This is my one-to-one fight, how it should look. This is my team battle. So when I started, I just had the thought, okay, there should be these 3 segments. Then I started giving names and type to everything, and eventually it converted into the group battle page you see. Then what kind of logics that I'm using, what elements I should have, all those pages, all those planning I done in a PowerPoint or in just some list format. And once all that done, the color palettes that I'm going to pick with for each and every element, I have all those colors here. And once all of that is ready, I just start creating my actual design. You can see it's the same design. I chose to keep my titles in my layout instead of putting them in my Power BI, because I just want them to be more hard coded. Yeah, my report is ready. This was the last thing I wanted to show you. Yeah, it's the end of the presentation.
Thank you so much, Kavita. That was really amazing and gave me some ideas on how I might actually ideate on my design and layout. That was fantastic. I liked how you showed that through calculations, you can make sure that your image ratios make sense and that they don't get stretched or look ugly if you change the canvas size. So that was very, very cool. Does anyone have any questions for Kavita?
No question.
I'm sorry, Rahul, do you have a question?
Yes, yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Go right ahead.
All right. Yeah, I was wondering, do you have layouts for mobile views?
Yeah, so let me share my screen again. If you can see the this hover over tooltip that I created, it is basically a layout, mobile size resolution. So the actual tooltip is going to look like this. So if I'm
Oh.
creating it, for this I have to select a filter because that's how my tooltip logic is working. But if I want to create it specifically for mobile, I have to make my screen size bit smaller, equal to my phone screen size, and yeah, then it will work similarly.
Okay, great.
Fantastic. Kavita, are there any anything you could share with us, the user group, like with any kind of spreadsheets or anything like that that would be useful?
Yeah, yes, I can. I have few materials, so I can share this Excel, and I like to create some free layouts like for my own self, and so these are some layouts that I create. I like to experiment with different color types and just see what can work and what cannot. So I create all by hardcore. I design everything on my layout, and then once I'm okay with it, I just remove all the text so I can put the text back into Power BI. So this is one example. I can share all these examples with you.
Yeah, that would be great. Perhaps maybe if you can give us a Dropbox link or something like that.
Yeah, I'll share a link with you, a Google Drive link. I don't have it now, but
Or Google Drive. Sure.
um, yeah, this is what I like to use, and most of the things are available. If I found anything new, I'll post up about that on my LinkedIn. I have a post about different icon galleries that we can use. Like if you like to use different icons and struggle with that, there are a lot of free platforms, paid platforms, and just all over platforms that you can use.
So I don't know if everyone caught it, but while Kavita was going through her presentation, I was trying to look up links and provide those in the chat so that you can refer to those after the presentation.
I was looking at the numero colors.
All right. Any other questions? Come on, Phil from Boise. I know you have a question. No, I'm kidding. All right. Well, if there are no further questions, Kavita, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to share with this group. I found it very useful. Again, just watching everything you presented gave me a couple more ideas, and I hope that everyone else got a few ideas as well. So you have a great day, and thank you everyone for attending.
Thank you.